Jazzcast Pros.
I am super excited because this is our first episode with a guest. So we have the beautiful and amazing Dr. Milicent Driver, who is an entrepreneurial strategist, an author, a speaker, who was honored with an honorary doctorate degree in philosophy of business entrepreneurship. She's certified as a business entrepreneur coach. She empowers professional women on their entrepreneurial journeys with a wealth of academic and real world expertise, including a Bachelor of Science in Sociology and master's degrees in public and environmental affairs and human services of marriage and family. And she is also a veteran from the branch of the United States Army. Welcome to Healing Her Within, the podcast for women who are ready to break free, rise up, and reclaim every part of themselves. I'm your host, Marianne Rivera Dannert, certified life and confidence coach, author, speaker, and a woman who's walked through the fire and came out fearless. So welcome to our show. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I
Thank
am
you.
great. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, for those that don't know Millicent, she actually has been on my show before when we were Fearless Fridays. And I'm also going to make sure to capture that link and put it in the show notes for people to just know a little bit more about you that we might not talk to about today.
Yeah.
So, you have turned unimaginable pain into purpose. Can you take us back to that turning point after the loss of your son and health challenges when you realized that entrepreneurship could be your healing path?
Okay. At that particular time, it had probably been a few years, and I was just kind of sitting in my own space, waddling in my own pain, and life was passing me by. And when I would look at the new graduates that were coming out of college, with their bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, even their PhDs, I felt like, okay, I'm getting further and further behind in my education and my experience. And I felt like I was just getting taught, you're on the sea and you're getting further and further away from the shore
Yeah.
because of all the waves. So that's how I felt. I felt that the waves of grief, the waves of disappointment, and the waves of maybe dealing with those physical challenges were pushing me away from my goals and pulling me away from my shore. And I realized, I said, if I'm intimidated by the newcomers coming with the education and maybe more experience and maybe some new knowledge that we didn't have when I was in school, I'm like, okay, how do I embrace me? How do I use what I have and build on that without feeling like I'm waiting on someone to tell me that I can do it? I had spent more time sitting in the background because of what I've been through, not wanting to push myself because of that disappointment and feeling that I wouldn't be able to do well, because of what I went through. And I said, you know what? It's time to take matters in my own hand. I'm gonna either sit here and get tossed to and fro on the lake and in the ocean, wherever I may be, or I'm gonna find out what I need to do to empower myself. And then I realized, okay, if I'm feeling like this, how many other women are feeling this way with their esteem and with their confidence and with the desire for entrepreneurship. So I'm like, that was, to me, it seemed like a marriage made in heaven. I said, I'm going to, attempt to do this. I had some naysayers along the way, pick a side, but I said, you know what, they go together. And I can listen to what people wanted me to mold, but I said, no, confidence and that will and that mindset goes together with accomplishing the goal, even in entrepreneurship. So that's kind of what started me and kind of pushed me. I just got tired of sitting on the sidelines and not playing in the game.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that even though there were naysayers in your path, you listened, but you didn't let that keep you stuck. You progress forward because sometimes when we have a dream or a desire or a goal and people start, talking negative, they don't see the vision like we do. We start to lean more their way than believing ourselves. So how did you where did that courage and that strength come from that you were able to just continue through?
I think what happened was I started to look at my family and I started to look at my daughter and what she was accomplishing and where she was going and how she was pushing and striving. And I was looking at her coming up as a woman and I was hurt, but she also had lost a brother and she also had to see me become, be ill and everything. And she pushed herself and got her degree, and she has two beautiful children, and she got a wonderful husband, and she's doing her thing. So I looked at that and I said, you know what? I want to be more of a pillar for her. I want her to know that whatever it is that she may go through, that she can push beyond the odds and make it happen. And I just wanted to, I didn't want to just go out like that. And I know she didn't want to see me just go out like that.
Right.
Because my motivation was that the fact I still had my daughter, and I still wanted to make sure that I was here for her. But I wanted to, I don't know, I just wanted to give her some seeds, plant something in her. And I wanted to be the one to water it. And I feel like if I'm doing something and I'm showing her what I'm doing, I'm, not only showing her, but I'm watering it too. And she's done amazing. She's doing amazing. So
I
that's
love
my
that.
motivation.
I love that. I love that. So many women feel stuck after trauma and loss. What helped you specifically? Like, what specific healing modalities helped you to rebuild your confidence and sense of identity when everything around you was changing and falling apart?
I think it was music. Music was my thing. And when I surrounded myself around music, my son, he played music, and I sing music. So I just kind of used that as my healing. And when I would hear music, it just seemed like a totally different world from all the different genres and everything. It was just healing. And that's where my peace came from. So I just really started to continue to sing with groups of people and just kind of go out there. And that's really kind of gave me back my social life, kind of gave me back that stability, that stamina, because I was enjoying that. And it also made me feel connected to my son and his memory, because that's what he did. So I think that was kind of like that pillar that I needed. It wasn't so much in the professional area as it was in that creative, uh,
Mm.
musical area, and
Right.
that's where I wanted to, develop and cultivate it. So now that's my go-to. So when I'm, overwhelmed and everything, it's nothing like, some good old music. And sometimes I don't want to even hear singing; I just want to hear instruments. It's so much healing in there.
Yeah.
So
I love that. At any point through your healing journey, or even currently, have you used any tools like journaling or affirmations, meditations, or anything like that?
yes, definitely journaling. When I started writing, I just kind of dug deep into some of the things I went through in the past. Because in life, from being, a young girl on up, you go through the ups and downs, ups and downs. Sometimes your self-esteem is hampered when you're in school. Sometimes you accomplish a lot, and sometimes you may feel that you're not good enough. So all the different emotions and all those peaks and valleys, I would, write about over the years. So I just said, you know what, with me journaling my emotions and my feelings, I was like, you know what, that helped me to write my first book. So that was a tool, because I felt like, okay, I'm writing all of these things. Some of it was kind of embarrassing, but it's my story.
Right.
So yeah, I found out journaling helped me to release a lot of that, and then now I'm an author, in many ways. And I think meditation is always an asset. I don't do it all the time, and I think
Yeah.
that we should do it more. It's amazing, but
Right.
it's the time, finding the time. But yes, definitely the meditation, just sitting and really reflecting, and then writing. Writing is such a joy, and know that, and I had the opportunity from you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. So writing is what it do.
I love that. So you mentioned, obviously that you're an author. So as a military veteran, as a powerhouse author, coach, and all of that, how do you discipline and structure yourself to make sure that you stay on the path of healing and, when those limiting beliefs and self-doubt starts to creep in, how do you push, through that? And also with everything that you do, who exactly is Millicent? And what exactly do you do?
So how I stay focused, and disciplined is, when I feel like I'm getting, when I feel like I'm just pulling myself away, that creates something, or I learn something. It's always something to learn and build on in this world, of entrepreneurship. So I look at, different ways to enhance, my business, different ways to learn something that will help me grow. So that is that. So yeah, I think that, I'm a serial, what you call it, educator, as far
Entrepreneur.
as that. Like you said it's essential to learn, but you got to
Yeah.
make some moves. So I sit and I feed myself some type of knowledge to keep me motivated. And I find myself that when I have new shiny things in front of me that I'm learning, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a motivation. So, and that's kind of like the discipline I got from the military, because it's not the traditional place you go like for education and schooling. You learn your skill along the way, and you constantly got to learn new things. So in order to stay fresh, and you got to learn new things to be promoted. So you always in a learning sense, and there's always somebody that you need to answer to. So that's kind of what I kind of adopted. In order to grow, you gotta have a leader and someone that knows more than you. As far as who I am, I think that I am one that really understands mindset and how, like you mentioned before, limiting beliefs can hold you back. So I ain't saying I'm an expert in that, but I really talk about that when I'm talking to women, because that's the biggest barrier that I had. And I feel like in some sense that I've conquered it enough that I can support and show other women that limiting beliefs, will only hinder you, and it will stifle you and sometimes destroy you. So my goal is to support them. So I am definitely a nurturer. I am an encourager,
Yeah.
and I love to see people win. So I feel like I have a heart of, say, a heart of support, a heart of really
Mm.
coming together and connecting with others. I'm not about just seeing me win, me win, me win. I
Right.
really, want to see people to get to a place in life where before this life is over, that they're getting all that they can out of it. I'm very serious about my journeys, and I don't mind sharing my journeys and my ups and my downs, my disappointments and my successes, and anything with anyone, especially if it's going to support and help them. So I think
Right.
that it sums it up. I'm a nurturer.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's a great word. And it definitely fits in with who you are because I do know you. So,
Yes.
sometimes in life, we're progressing forward, we're trying to work on ourselves, we're trying to overcome, work through our healing traumas and things like that. What would you say is one thing that most people misunderstand about healing, about facing adversity, especially as a woman who has faced several, setbacks in life?
I think one misconception is understanding what healing really means.
Mm,
Healing doesn't mean not feeling anything. Healing is really getting to a place where you manage those feelings. They don't go away. And especially depending on what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with loss of some sort very significant, it may not never go away, may lessen in feeling, depending on what it is. If it's the death of a loved one, you may always have to contend with the fact that, are you going to miss that loved one and that person? And those feelings are valid, but you don't have to allow those feelings to overtake you. If it's a loss of a job, you may bruise your self-esteem a little bit. If you get fired, and you may feel like you're, not up to par, and sometimes that may be on your mind. That may be a motivation for you to step into bigger and better things, to push yourself a little more. So that's the thing. The misconception about that is feeling like you can't. You're not. What healing is, not feeling anything. Once you don't feel anything anymore, you're healed, and that's not the case. It's a mindset, and I
right.
think it's more so a mind over matter. That's how I see it. You're always going to feel. Sometimes those feelings will take you places that you never thought you can go in a positive direction. So don't be afraid of what you feel.
And the thing about that also too is that, sometimes we're starting therapy coaching today to, work through our healing and things like that. And then something happens. And oftentimes people feel or think that they have to, or that they're starting back from point A. But if you've been working, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, you're not starting from point A, you're starting from that point. So it's just making sure that you pause, you reflect, and you pick back up and keep going.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's very important. Very, very, very important. No time is wasted. No time is wasted time. You
Right.
know,
Yep.
that's another thing too. Give yourself grace. Give yourself time. It's not
Yeah.
wasted. You don't see that when you're in the midst of it, because you feel like, if I don't hurry up and do something, I'm gonna get further and further behind. Even recently, I had a whole lot going on
Yeah.
with losses, and I feel like, if I don't jump in here and jump in here, and I said, you know what, it's okay. This time is not wasted, and when I get back to what I'm trying to do, I'm gonna be even more effective. That time is not wasted.
That's awesome. So you work with women, who are starting or getting into entrepreneurship. What's the first mindset shift that you believe they need to make when it comes to being an
Ooh,
entrepreneur?
confidence.
Mm,
Sometimes of course, we start with what you want to do, your why, and all of those things. Those are very important. Your goals, even the superficial goals, right at the top. But the confidence. Sometimes they just need to work on the confidence to believe. The desires sometimes are so deep down inside, and it's like, oh, you know what? So many different things hold us back, and things from our past. We feel that no one like me could actually do this. It may be the desire is there, but nobody like me, or I'm not educated enough, or my past, or the things I went through, some of the decisions and choices I made. But that confidence to say, you know what, it's okay. Just take the confidence to make the first step. Because I think that having the desire of something is the easy part, because
yeah,
we have desires all day long, with things coming and going constantly. But if we have the desire and we get that confidence to even make a step towards it, I think that's you have a desire to exercise 5 days a week. Sometimes if you get to that point and you accomplish that, or maybe 3 times a week, then you'd be like, you know what, I did that. And so
right.
when it comes to something more, pressing, like maybe starting a business, or, you have a good idea about something, just getting to the point where you can kind of seek and even start researching that confidence is kind of built, because you prove to yourself that I can work out 3 days a week. I did it. I set a goal for myself. I had the confidence to make it happen. So it's starting somewhere. It's just building that confidence. I think we underestimate confidence.
Yeah. And I think the thing about it too is that sometimes we feel like, okay, we're going to say this affirmation or we got this goal and, we want to be confident and we think that it's going to magically appear or magically happen. And like you said, it's baby steps, just continuous repetition, consistency. And before you know it, you're going to look in the mirror, you're going to face something and you're going to have that confidence because you've been working on it all along.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Can you share a powerful affirmation or a mantra that helped you move through your darkest moments?
Oh, maybe a scripture that helped me was Romans 8:28. All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord, who are called according to His purpose.
Mhm.
That was for me, because when you have so many ups and downs in life, which we all do,
Yeah,
you start to feel like, okay, how is this going to benefit me in my life? When you lose someone, when I lost my son, how in the world how is that going to be beneficial to me?
right.
But I know that there's others who lost people, maybe, like I said, lost relationships, lost careers, lost health, related things. So that's, that encouragement comes, hey, you know what? Don't give up. All things
Right.
work together.
So what are you currently working on right now for the rest of, 2025? If there's some like major goal that you're looking forward to in 2026, what would that be?
Well, two goals that I definitely am working on. One is I'm working on starting my coaching program, and that is going to be women who are um, branding their business. We are getting their business going, and we're going to get that brand started. And I'm working with those who are going to help them with graphics. We're going to help them with mindset and confidence, all the way to establishing a logo and website. You're not going to just come and we're going to have an idea. We're going to make that thing come to life. So I'm
Okay.
working on a program that's really going to help them to get a good launching start. When I first came into this, I had coaches, and I got bits and pieces, and I had to kind of piece things together for
Right.
myself, in a sense. I was like, no, no, we're gonna get all of this together. We're gonna. I believe in protocol.
Yeah.
Let's look at the checklist. We got this taken care of, that taken care of, that taken care of. You want them to be successful. You don't want them to have an idea, start out on something, and then get lost along the way. But you no longer their coach. So, you're not helping them. No, you're going to be there and coach someone in that realm. Let's get that all taken care of. So that's what my program is going to do. We're going to really we're going to cater to the person, from their mindset to we're going to tackle those limiting beliefs. We're going to talk
Mhm.
tackle their companies. We're going to talk about goals, and we're going to talk about your purpose, your vision, and we're going to move on, to more tangible things. And so by the end of the program, you will have a brand that you will be proud of. And along the way, you can tweak it, you can change it, you can do whatever, but you will know how to do it. You're
I love
you're
that.
gonna have something that you can use. And also, I would like to do an anthology. So that's
Nice.
something that's I would like to do. That it's a goal right now. That is my heart's desire. Those two things.
That's beautiful. If you could speak directly to the woman listening who feels broken, uncertain, or invisible, what would you say to her?
I would tell her that we can all say, well, you're not alone. So many people go through that, and it's true. But I want to encourage them that we can sit and we can lay dormant and allow those feelings to trap us, and we just live out our life, under, all that heaviness, all that entrapment, all of those, the things that are stopping us from doing what we need to do. And or we can really make a sound decision that if I want to do something different in my life and I do not want to carry this weight on me, I'm going to take the responsibility to find out how I can change this for myself. I may not know how to do it right now. I may not even feel like doing it right now. I might not even know who to talk to do it. But
Right.
what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first step and find out at least the first step of what I need to do. Once you take that first step, you'll be surprised all the different steps that will come behind that, and you realize that you wasn't that far away from point A to point G. You're not even that far away from your goal. You just
Yeah.
need someone that will be there to support you and to encourage you. But I will tell you, if you have enough knowledge to know that you're in that place, then you have enough in you to know that you need to get out of that place. The
Yeah.
responsibility we have is to go and get whatever supports we may feel we need. And if you don't really know how to verbalize it, say something, because you just never know who's listening. In other words, do not allow your dreams to just sit, and don't you sit on your dreams and your goals, your desires, or don't even sit on your pain.
Yeah.
Don't just sit dormant.
I
Let's
love
take
that.
responsibility. That's the best thing I can tell you. Sometimes it's just easier standing up and just taking a step.
I love that. So, have a new signature question for this podcast. Your inner child is listening. What do you want her to know about the woman you've become and the healing that got you here?
Wow, you're strong, and I had to stand on your shoulders because the strength that you had, and the strength that you had to have during those times is the only way I made it to today. So I am forever indebted to you and your strength. And without you and your strength, there will be no me.
I love that. I felt that. So, where can our listeners and our viewers learn more about you, connect with you, and also learn more about the anthology that is going to happen in your coaching program?
My website is milicentstrategist.com, and the information about the different books and the programs and how to get in contact with me also on social media on Facebook, Milicent the Business Strategist, Instagram, Dr. Milicent Driver, and LinkedIn is Dr. Milicent Driver. And those are the platforms that you can reach me at, and I will definitely reach back out to you. But if you go to the website and you see something that piques your interest as far as a book, anything is there, and you can leave your information. If you have questions, and even if you have, uh, if you just have a question, I don't mind. Sometimes all I need is something answered, just a small question. When it comes to business, when it comes to that, I may have the answer, but and I may not. But if you want to ask, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that the door is open. You may ask me, and I will try my best to support you and to get an answer for you. But I do offer services as well. Like I said, they will be kind of catered to that person, and some of them
Right.
may be a la carte.
Yeah.
Someone may just want to write and share their story. That'll be available too, but that's coming. So I'll leave all of that out. But with the anthology, um, towards the end of the year, I would say look for me. and yeah, with more details. So, but I'm the girl. If you're thinking about an
I love
anthology,
that.
think about me.
I love that. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me and being patient with me. And I really, really, really appreciate you, Dr. Mary Ann. Lord, where did I get Marie from? Dr. Mary Ann. And it's like, you forgive me because you're my girl. But
It's
thank
okay.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Healing Her Within. I hope today's message spoke to your soul and reminded you just how powerful you are. If you loved this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a sister who needs it and leave a review so more women can find their way to healing. And remember, your healing is your responsibility, but you don't have to do it alone. Follow me on social media at Marianne Rivera Dannert, and be sure to visit mariannerivera.com to access free resources, coaching programs, and learn more about the events at the Healing Her Studio in Rochester, New York. Until next time, keep healing, keep rising, and always honor the woman you're becoming. This is Healing Her Within, and girl, we are just getting started.